down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Criminal careers are usually nasty, brutish, and short. But the movies about them are often intense, brilliant, and long-lived.
But I want you to know I couldn't be fonder of you if you were my own son. But, well, if you lose a son, it's possible to get another. There's only one Maltese Falcon.
Come on now, you sure you ain't got no peach pies? I don't believe you.
Where's my daughter?
Where's Jerry?
No Jean, no money.
See, Mr. Gitz, most people never have to face the fact that at the right time, in the right place, they're capable of anything.
Crime may be the subject closest to the movie's melodramatic heart. They've always loved showing us how organized crime gets itself organized in order to corrupt society. But they've loved just as much showing us the ways of disorganized crime, those deadly lurches of the dysfunctional heart and the disheveled spirit that we call crimes of passion. Public enemies and private nightmares, they're both the subjects of this episode in AFI's continuing celebration of the best in American movies. So too is the elegant American style with the pretentious French name, film noir, which places crime in the most vivid, imaginable light.
It may have begun in this private eye's office in 1941. Here is noir's emotional essence. A tough guy who's more vulnerable than he knows. An alluring dame, devious and deadly, drawing him into her criminal web.
Won't you sit down, Miss Wantley?
Thank you. I inquired at the hotel for the name of a reliable private detective. They mentioned yours.
Suppose you tell me about it from the very beginning.
The atmosphere's always shadowy. The dialogue's smart, sexy, barbed.
Is there anything I can do?
The insurance ran out on the 15th. I'd hate to think of you having a smashed fender or something while you're not fully covered.
Now, wait a minute, Mrs. Mulray. I think there's been some misunderstanding here. There's no point in getting tough with me.
I don't get tough with anyone, Mr. Giddys. My lawyer does.
Over and over again in detective movies, the villain is almost one of the first people we and the detectives see, only we do not know that we see them.
Not fully, anyway.
That's good coming from you. What have you ever given me beside money? Have you ever given me any of your confidence, any of the truth? Haven't you tried to buy my loyalty with money and nothing else?
What else is there I can buy you with?
In noir, the smart guys are always temporarily, sometimes permanently, blinded by lust.
From the beginning of the quest, this man is doomed, and he knows it, yet he goes on.
Goes on, deeper and deeper into a labyrinth full of desperate characters and twisted schemes.
Come on, this'll put you in solid with your boss.
Now, sir, you talk if you like. I tell you right out, I'm a man who likes talking to a man who likes to talk.
Swell. Will we talk about the blackbird?
You're the man for me, sir. No beating about the bush, right to the point. Let's talk about the blackbird, by all means.
Beneath the elusive bird's paint, there's supposed to be gold and precious jewels.
Is it? We'll make sure.
Behind the avid eyes of these supposed allies are minds bent on mutual betrayal. But someone has beaten them to it.
Fake. It's a phony. It's lead. It's lead. It's a fake. You imbecile. You bloated idiot. You stupid fathead. You...
The character actors were wonderful, particularly Sidney Greenstreet. He was superb. Bogart's hard as nails in the story, and you just, when he turns that woman in.
I hope they don't hang you, Precious, for that sweet neck.
You're not...
Yes, Angel, I'm going to send you over. The chances are you'll get off with life. That means if you're a good girl, you'll be out in 20 years. I'll be waiting for you. If they hang you, I'll always remember you.
Underneath the cynicism, there's that disappointed romantic, that idealist is still lurking there. There's a little flame that's still alive.
Mary Astor's Bridget O'Shaughnessy has been revealed as a murderess. Sam Spade is revealed as a man with a code even love cannot shatter.
Harry, what is it?
The, stuff that dreams are made of.
Huh?
In the end, Sam is also a man filled with bitter regret. The deadliest of all film noir femme fatale, Barbara Stanwyck's Phyllis Dietrichson in Double Indemnity.
I wasn't long, was I?
Not at all, Mrs. Dietrichson.
Hope I've got my face on straight.
Perfect for my money.
Ness is the name, isn't it?
Yeah, 2 F's, like in Philadelphia, if you know the story.
What story?
Philadelphia story.
Suppose we sit down, you tell me about the insurance. My husband never tells me anything.
She may not get his jokes, but she gets his attention. Fred McMurray's feckless Walter Neff, shrewd but not smart, is no match for this insinuating temptress.
Will you phone me? Walter. I hate him. I loathe going back to him. You believe me, don't you, Walter?
Sure, I believe you.
I can't stand it anymore. What if they did hang me?
They're not going to hang you, baby.
It's better than going on this way.
They're not going to hang you because you're going to do it and I'm going to help you.
You know what you're saying?
Sure, I know what I'm saying. We're going to do it and we're going to do it right. And I'm the guy that knows how.
Walter, you're hurting me.
There's not going to be any slip-up. Nothing sloppy, nothing weak. It's got to be perfect.
They've killed her husband for his insurance money, and it looks like someone may have to take the fall.
I loved you, Walter, and I hated him. But I wasn't going to do anything about it, not until I met you. You planned the whole thing. I only wanted him dead.
And I'm the one that fixed it so he was dead. Is that what you're telling me?
And nobody's pulling out. We went into this together and we're coming out at the end together. It's straight down the line for both of us. Remember?
She's the one who takes him down. She's the witch, in a way. The most beautiful, gorgeous witch. And maybe she's worth throwing her life away for.
It can only end one way, in the shadows, and the kind of pitiless betrayals this archetypal movie taught us to expect from film noir.
Better than that, can't you, baby? Better try it again.
I'm rotten to the heart. I used you just as you said. That's all you ever meant to me. Until a minute ago. When I couldn't fire that second shot. I never thought that could happen to me.
Sorry, baby, I'm not buying.
I'm not asking you to buy. Just hold me close.
Goodbye, baby.
Darker, deeper secrets often lurked in the shadows. If love was corrupt, why not whole cities, maybe the whole society? Chinatown, greatest of modern noirs, states this theme definitively. In the midst of a Los Angeles drought, someone is diverting precious water into the sea. For arid land is cheap land, easy to buy up.
I thought, why don't we just do a story about a gigantic crime, water and power. This guy who was used to dealing with smarmy human behavior every day of his life, peeping in bedroom windows, that kind of crime was beyond his ken, and he's just swallowed up in it.
Jack Nicholson with Private Eye Jake Gittes.
You're a very nosy fellow, kitty cat, huh? You know what happens to nosy fellows? Huh? No? Wanna guess? Huh? No? Okay. They lose their noses.
Behind it is the story of the birth of Los Angeles as a modern city.
Hollis Mulray, the honest engineer who brought water to the desert city and will die because he opposes John Huston's Noah Cross, his sometime partner and his father-in-law, a pillar of respectability. His perfect geniality masks perfect evil. Noah's daughter, Evelyn, Faye Dunaway. Beneath her brittle manner and lacquered beauty lie a terrible need and a terrible secret, a combination completely seductive to a film noir male. This is the young girl Jake has been hired to find. But the connection between her and Evelyn is the mystery he and we will come to wish he had not penetrated. This is one window he should never have peeped into.
Who is she? And don't give me that crap about your sister because you don't have a sister.
I'll tell you the truth.
Good.
She's my daughter.
I said I want the truth.
She's my sister. She's my daughter. My sister, my daughter.
I said I want the truth.
She's my sister and my daughter.
The stealing of the water from Owens Valley was really called the rape of Owens Valley. And his rape of his daughter really is emblematic of the larger crime against the whole community and the future of that community.
Gonna be a lot of irate citizens when they find out that they're paying for water that they're not gonna get.
Oh, that's all taken care of. See, Mr. Gittes, either you bring the water to L.A. or you bring L.A. to the water.
How are you gonna do that?
By incorporating the valley into the city. Simple as that.
How much are you worth?
I've no idea. How much do you want?
No, I just want to know what you're worth. Over 10 million?
Oh, my, yes.
Why are you doing it? How much better can you eat? What can you buy that you can't already afford?
The future, Mr. Gittes. The future.
The really great crimes that are so great that they can't be punished. So they very often end up being rewarded because there's nothing else to do with them.
Great crimes, great chasers. The Third Man and the French Connection. When we return on TNT. 100 years, 100 movies on TNT. Stylistically, the most intense of film noir, The Third Man. This 1949 film returned noir to its roots in pre-war European expressionism. Joseph Cotton plays Pulp Fiction writer Holly Martins, caught up in a true mystery, the death, more apparent than real, of a friend.
With Carol Reed, you really get a sense of what a director does. He is self-conscious at times, but he also has a great sense of theatricality, particularly when you first see Harry Lime in the doorway. You know, it's one of the great moments of movie making.
What are you tailing me for? Cat got your tongue?
The cat doesn't like anybody but Harry. And then the cat walks down the street, and he wraps himself around his shoes in these beautiful wingtip shoes that I only saw in my old neighborhood gangsters wear. A light shines on his face, and the woman opens the window across the way, and he smiles. But he's supposed to be dead. If you see the film for the first time, it's one of the great moments in movies because is it a ghost story? Who is this man? Why is he smiling? When he does smile, he's very attractive in a way.
Harry.
You like him, and he has the audacity to smile. And Orson Welles made it so easy, particularly in his cuckoo clock speech, which he wrote himself.
Don't be so gloomy. After all, it's not that awful. What the fella said. In Italy, for 30 years under the Borgias, they had warfare, terror, murder, and bloodshed, but they produced Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and the Renaissance. In Switzerland, they had brotherly love. They had 500 years of democracy and peace. And what did that produce? The cuckoo clock. So long, Holly.
And then, of course, you know, you do begin to understand later on, of course, when you see the children's ward, what he really did and how despicable he really was.
Harry Lime is profiting from the sale of diluted penicillin. Facing Harry's innocent victims, Holly turns against his friend. Who knew in 1949 how many drug kingpins like Harry we would face in crime movies to come?
And yet, he really encapsulates that charm of some of the people who are like this. That's fascinating. It's the dichotomy of what a human being really is, the dark and the light side.
The dark side didn't get much darker than it did in 1971 in The French Connection. It was about a multinational, multi-million-dollar drug deal. Such wealth, such criminal power. All that stood in its way was the relentless, often lawless toughness of Gene Hackman's demonic New York cop.
All right, Popeye's here. Get your hand on your head. Get off the bar and get on the wall. Come on, move out. All right, come on. Face the window. Move. Face the wall.
At the time, it was the most brutally realistic detective story ever made.
There. Oh, I'm going to check on this address in the Bronx, and if they don't know you, they're at your ass.
The theme of The French Connection, of course, was the thin line between the policeman and the criminal. And it is nowhere better illustrated than in that chase scene where the cop breaks every traffic law in pursuit of a bad guy.
It became the film's signature sequence, the thing everyone remembers about The French Connection, and the thing everyone has been imitating ever since.
I always tried to surprise the lens, and I did that because I wanted the audience to be surprised. The lens is the first audience.
Fernando Rey is the movie's master criminal. Popeye is shadowing him, but doesn't know that he's been observed. The chase takes them to the subway, the 42nd Street shuttle, and the movie's cleverest sequence. Pursuer and pursued in an elegant, wordless battle of wits. It's another way of saying that cops and crooks are brothers under the skin.
Watch the closing doors.
It also prefigures a downbeat ending. Popeye never does capture his prey.
Godfather, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
You can act like a man. What's the matter with you?
The Godfather and the gangster tradition. When we return on TNT. 100 years, 100 movies on TNT.
This is Rico speaking. Rico. All right, C.O. Rico. Little Caesar, that's who.
Edward G. Robinson was the first classic gangster. James Cagney's Public Enemy was the second.
But what am I going to do? I can't help it if I have to buy from Schemer Burns. They tell me the same thing that you do.
You're yellow.
Scarface was the third. It starred Paul Muni.
Hey, look at them. They got machine guns you can carry. If I had some of them, I could run the whole works in a month.
They were made within a year of each other in 1931-32. All simple tales of a mobster's rise and fall. Cagney returned to the genre in 1949's White Heat. Once a parody capitalist, his gangster was now a full-scale psychopath.
How you doing, Parker?
Stuffy in here. I need some air.
Oh, stuffy, huh? I'll give it a layer.
There was no place for independents like Cody Gere in post-war America. As he destroyed his world, a new criminal society, more complex, more rational, but ultimately even more deadly, was emerging. It was a world this returning veteran, Michael Corleone, would eventually, bloodily inherit from the Godfather.
And if by chance an honest man like yourself should make enemies, then he would become my enemies. And then they would fear you.
Are you my friend? Godfather?
As Don Corleone leads his daughter to the dance floor at her wedding, we envy him the warmth and wealth of the occasion, the loyalty of his extended family. But the successful entrepreneur can never rest.
Now we have the unions, we have the gambling, and they're the best things to have, but narcotics is a thing of the future. If we don't get a piece of that action, we risk everything we have. I mean, not now, but 10 years from now.
So? What's your answer gonna be, Pop?
Drug traffic is the crux of this story, too.
I must say no to you. And I'll give you my reasons. It's true, I have a lot of friends in politics. But they wouldn't be friendly very long if they knew my business was drugs instead of gambling, which they regard as a harmless vice. But drugs is a dirty business. It doesn't make any difference to me what a man does for a living, you understand. But your business is a little dangerous.
This refusal to join the other mafia families in their new enterprise leads to a near murderous reprisal and the beginnings of gang warfare. Don Corleone will never fully recover from this attack, and there's only one man who can replace him, his son Michael, played by Al Pacino.
What happened to the men who were guarding my father, Ken?
Why, you little punk. What the hell are you doing telling me my business? I pulled them guys off of here, eh?
What's the Turk paying you to set up my father, Ken?
Take a hold of him. Stand him up. Stand him up straight.
Crime's links with respectability are again stressed.
What are you gonna do? Nice college boy, huh? They want to get mixed up in the family business? Huh? Now you want to gun down a police captain, why? Because he slapped you in the face a little bit? Huh? What do you think, this is the army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get them close like this, and bada bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit. Come here. Mwah! You're taking this very personal. Tom, this is business, and this man is taking it very, very personal.
It's not personal, son. It's strictly business.
With this act, Michael leaves the world of light for one of darkness and begins his rise to power. In the midst of directing the picture, Francis Ford Coppola realized he and Mario Puzo had neglected to write a key scene and asked Robert Towne to do it.
What it really became about was the succession of power, and uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. I mean, having to pass this ugly crown onto his son.
I never wanted this for you. I worked my whole life. I don't apologize to take care of my family. And I refused to be a fool. Dancing on the string held by all those big shots. I don't apologize, that's my life, but I thought that when it was your time that you would be the one to hold the strings. Senator Corleone, Governor Corleone, something.
Another Petanovanta.
Oh. This wasn't enough time, Michael. Wasn't enough time.
We'll get there, Pop. We'll get there.
A family that holds the loyalty of family, the fact of family that had been lost in the urban, increasingly urban world, and yet it's as if it takes place in hell. It's as if it's Satan's family.
Michael Francis Rizzi, do you renounce Satan?
As he attends a sacred rite, Michael's soldiers perform a profane one.
I do renounce him.
With these perfectly orchestrated murders, Michael wipes out all opposition.
And all his works?
All power will now be consolidated in Michael's hand. All grace drained from his soul.
I do renounce them.
In the history of movies, there is no more operatic moment, no more bitterly ironic aria than this one.
Michael Ricci, will you be baptized?
I will.
In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Michael Ricci, go in peace, and may the Lord be with you. Amen.
Another take on gangsters. GoodFellas and Pulp Fiction, when we return on TNT. 100 years, 100 movies on TNT.
Thank you, sir. All right, see you later. Thanks.
What are you doing? You're leaving your car?
What? It's a car for me.
GoodFellas is the true and amoral autobiography of a small-time hood named Henry Hill. It's the anti-Godfather, a ground-level view of the underground. Breaking a nightclub line, breaking the law. It's all the same to heedless Henry. Crime isn't a moral issue here. It's a lifestyle issue.
Good, good. What's up? There you go.
The star of the movie is a way of life, not a character. Somebody commented that it's like Scarface without Scarface, but that's what it is. Yeah, we don't need Scarface in the film. What I wanted to show you was the danger of the exuberance of that kind of life at first, you see. The danger of the exuberance, the danger of the excitement. When you're young, you think you're going to live forever. You think you're tough, and you can take a few more shots in the head than somebody else could. Well, eventually, if you don't use your brain, you're not going to wind up anywhere.
At 13, I was making more money than most of the grown-ups in the neighborhood. I mean, I had more money than I could spend. I had it all.
Where I grew up, some of the best entertainment I had was listening to some guys on street corners tell stories. The oral tradition, and self-deprecating, funny, and some of the toughest people I've ever seen.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you, I make you laugh.
Just, you know how you tell a story. What?
No, I don't know. You said it. How do I know? You said I'm funny.
Get the out of here, Tommy.
I almost had him. You stuttering prick yet. Frankie, was he shaking? I wonder about you sometimes, Henry. You may fold under questioning.
I can't excuse them in any way because they're wrong. I mean, what they do in GoodFellas is dead wrong.
It's a movie of vivid, vicious contrast. The GoodFellas turn into raging bad guys in a wink of the camera's eye. That's what makes it so memorable.
They are like the Wild Bunch in a way. Anything could happen any second. They don't think. You know, the idea was to make money, not kill people. You know?
Criminals as perpetual adolescents of blackly humorous, deeply scary thought.
We'll throw the bastard through the lines. No, I ain't going near any lines, Jimmy. Just throw him over the moat. Right. No! Right. I'll get it! I'll get the money! Look at the...
They must really feed each other to the lions down there because the guy gave the money right up.
I swear to get the money.
And we got to spend the rest of the weekend at the track.
It's funny and harrowing and informative and beautifully wrought. And I just thought it was a great movie, a great American movie.
You might say the same for Pulp Fiction's panoramic vision of low-life Los Angeles. It's a hip modernist sort of place where crime is always among the accidents waiting to intrude ironically on life's little routine.
I love you, honey bunny.
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris?
They don't call it a quarter pounder with cheese?
Oh, man, they got the metric system.
And what do they call it?
They call it Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese.
That's right.
What do they call a Big Mac?
Big Mac's a Big Mac, but they call it Le Big Mac.
Le Big Mac.
Just a couple of ordinary guys heading into what is, for them, an ordinary sort of day at work.
And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. Die, you mother!
Miracles are like murder in Quentin Tarantino's world. They can happen anywhere. They tend to make a man, even a hitman, stop and think.
Look, you want to play blind man, go walk with the shepherd. With me, my eyes are wide and open.
What does that mean?
I mean, that's it for me. From here on in, you consider my ass retired.
Marvin, what do you make of all this?
Man, I don't even have an opinion.
Well, you gotta have an opinion. I mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped him? Oh, man, I shot Marvin in the face.
Why did you do that?
Well, I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident.
There's a lot of sequences in there that take you completely by surprise. You think you're going one direction and they go another.
The universe this movie parallels is the chance universe. When Uma Thurman's gang moll unwittingly says yes to bad drugs, she's also, accidentally of course, saying yes to a near-death experience. The movie burst on the world at the 1994 Cannes Film Festival. Clint Eastwood chaired the jury that gave it the grand prize.
It was a very fearless kind of movie to make.
Don't die on me, Mia!
Tarantino stepped forward, and he wasn't afraid to really go with it. He kind of had a style in his mind, and he never veered from it. There's a couple unique scenes in there that you go back. That one where they revive the girl. It was just such a jolt.
Am I gonna kill her? I mean, no, she's supposed to come out of it like that. It's... All right, count to 3. All right, ready? 1. Two. 3. If you're all right, say something.
Something.
The first time I actually saw the film was at the Cannes Film Festival. The audience was loving this movie, loving it. About halfway through, I realized there were subtitles at the bottom of it. So I said, hey, these people are reading it, and they're getting it. This might be special.
It's a world Little Caesar's audience wouldn't recognize.
Man, I've just been sitting here thinking.
About what?
About the miracle we witnessed.
Miracle you witnessed. I witnessed a freak occurrence.
What is a miracle, Vincent?
Act of God.
And what's an act of God?
When God makes the impossible possible. But this morning, I don't think qualifies.
Now, whether or not what we experienced was an according to Hoyle miracle is insignificant. But what is significant is I felt the touch of God. God got involved.
Let me ask you something. When did you make this decision? When you were sitting there eating that muffin?
Well, yeah. I was sitting there eating my muffin and drinking my coffee and replaying the incident in my head when I had what alcoholics refer to as a moment of clarity.
To be continued.
A love spree and a crime spree.
Well, I'm Miss Bonnie Parker, and this here's Mr. Clyde Barrow. We rob banks.
Bonnie and Clyde, when we return on TNT. Gere's 100 movies on TNT.
Shoot, I knew you never robbed a place, you faker.
They were bored. They were out of work. They were stuck in the middle of the American nowhere in the midst of a depression. It occurred to Bonnie and Clyde that a life of crime might alleviate all these problems. They also thought it might be kind of sexy and romantic. As they'd soon learn, crime sprees can be a lot of fun, too. If you keep your foot on the gas and your mind off their unfortunate side effects.
I didn't think it was excessively violent. I knew it had to be vivid, but I kept thinking, what's coming out of Vietnam at this point? Kids with transfusions being rushed into helicopters and flown out of Vietnam. How could a movie, a fictional movie with somebody getting shot, possibly generate such controversy? Well, it did.
Good afternoon.
just take it easy. Nobody will get hurt.
In the movie, as in myth, they were played as Robin Hood, never stealing from the poor.
Is that your money or the bank's?
Mine.
All right. You keep it then. Next time I'll aim a little lower. All right.
What was the characteristic of the law in those days was that each state had its own independent police force. If you could get across the state line, it was in effect getting into a totally other jurisdiction and couldn't be followed.
Take a good look, Pop. I'm Buck Barrel.
For the Barrel Boys!
At the same time, J. Edgar Hoover was creating the FBI. One of the things that the FBI had to do was be able to sell the lawmakers on the notion that they could have extraterritorialities, that they could be a national police force. So one of the things that they did as the FBI was to glamorize these bandits to this level where they were larger than life.
The movie's genius, to tell a deadly tale in rollicking terms.
There I was, staring square into the face of death.
The criminals were the innocents here. In true 60s style, it was those who pursued and used them who were really evil.
And all I can say is, they did right with me, and I'm bringing me a mess of flowers to their funeral.
The movie was haunted by a sense of Bonnie and Clyde's inescapable doom.
Clyde, sugar, does it make Mama stay a while yet, huh?
You know, Clyde, I read about you all in the papers, and I just get scared.
Now, Miss Parker, don't you believe what you read in all them newspapers? That's the law talking there. They want us to look big, so they're gonna look big when they catch us. And they ain't gonna catch us, because I'm even better at running than I am at robbing banks.
You best keep running, Clyde Barrow. And you know it. Bye, baby.
There's always a point in time where a movie has to do the thing nobody wants it to do, to make us understand where we are in our culture and in our movies.
We were arriving at a much more brutally violent place.
What we did find was that literally, in history, there had been over 1,000 rounds fired to kill them by these guys in the bushes.
Betrayal, ambush, and a final, silent, infinitely poignant farewell. The firepower was out of all proportion to the task. It was an analogy to Vietnam and a statement about the inherent violence of American life. In the end, this revolutionary film, these terrible concluding images, helped define the spirit of the 60s and forced us to think about questions that were formerly unthinkable, especially at the movies. Another kind of crime spree.
You should see the other guy.
Fargo, when we return on TNT. 100 years, 100 movies on TNT.
Unfortunately, you see, today, to a great extent, evil has spread, that every little town has had its share of evil.
How truly Alfred Hitchcock spoke a quarter century ago, and he'd never even been to Fargo, where a desperate man hatches a desperate scheme and forgets to check references.
So, we all set on this thing then?
Sure, Jerry, we're all set. Why wouldn't we be?
Yeah, no, I'm sure you are. Shep vouched for you and all. I got every confidence here in you fellas. I guess that's it then. Here are the keys.
No, that's not it, Jerry.
Huh?
The new vehicle plus $40,000.
Yeah, but the deal was the car first, then the $40,000. Like as if it was the ransom. I thought Shep told you.
Shep didn't tell us much, Jerry.
Well, okay.
Except that you were going to be here at 7:30.
Yeah, well, that was a mix-up then.
Yeah, you already said that.
Yeah, but it's not a whole pay in advance deal. See, I give you a brand new vehicle in advance, and then...
I'm not going to debate you, Jerry.
Okay.
I'm not going to sit here and debate. I will say this, though. What Shep told us didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Oh, no, it's real sound. It's all worked out.
You want your own wife kidnapped.
Yeah.
Great.
Unguent. What? I need unguent.
But the kidnappers are all muscle and no brain. In their carelessness, they're pulled over by a state trooper. Now they reveal their true nature, a know-it-all know-nothing and a heedless psychopath, and begin a deadly disturbance of the primal peace.
Come on.
For this is the American heartland, a place that treasures serenity and common sense. Its spirit is personified by an unlikely and utterly winning heroine, Frances McDormand's Police Chief Margie.
Where's the state trooper?
Back there, a good piece in the ditch next to his prowler.
Okay. So we got a trooper pull someone over. We got a shooting. These folks drive by. There's a high-speed pursuit. Ends here, and then this execution type deal.
Yeah. You see something down there, Chief?
No, I just think I'm gonna barf.
Jeez. You okay, Margie?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just morning sickness. Well, that passed.
Yeah?
Yeah, now I'm hungry again.
She has that fabulous Midwestern quality of just keeping calm. I'm dealing with it. I'm bringing it down here on my level, taking the scare out of it, taking the drama out of it, treating it like here's an event that I've got to deal with. It's my job, and I do my job.
Yeah, that's where we met. But I dropped out, though. Yeah, she dropped. Yeah. So where are you girls from? Chaska, LeSueur. But I went to high school in White Bear Lake. Go Bears.
Okay. I want you to tell me what these fellas look like.
Well, the little guy, he was kind of funny looking.
In what way?
I don't know, just funny looking.
Can you be any more specific?
I couldn't really say. He wasn't circumcised.
Was he funny looking apart from that?
This is the Midwestern approach, which is deal with it, keep nice manners, do the right thing, and triumph over it.
Ma'am, I answered your question.
I'm sorry, sir?
Ma'am, I answered your question. I answered the darn... I'm cooperating here, and there's no,
Sir, you have no call to get snippy with me. I'm just doing my job here.
She's the most radical and refreshing figure in recent crime movies. A woman armored in simple virtues and values, and great bravery, too. In the end, evil cannot resist her, and neither can we. For in our increasingly violent world, she acts out of our best instincts. And speaks for them, too.
So that was Mrs. Lundegaard on the floor in there. And I guess that was your accomplice and the wood chipper. And those 3 people in Brainerd. And for what? For a little bit of money. There's more to life than a little money, you know. Don't you know that?
Yes, we do, Margie. Most of us. But there are always cold and shriveled spirits among us, impervious to morality's call. And we mustn't forget that the normal heart is, among other things, needy and greedy. In life, we deplore its sinful ways. In the movies, of course, we revel in them. For there are no pleasures greater than the guilty ones.
When your family's being stalked by a killer shark, it's time to take control. Feel the bite of Jaws the Revenge, tomorrow night at 9 on TNT. Now, you know the usual suspects. You've been in on the inside jobs. Go undercover with criminals, the mob, and the movies. Don't miss an encore presentation of American Film Institute's 100 Years, 100 Movies Beyond the Law, next on TNT.